life is full of bullshit, and we're here to call it out. Real talk, raw truth, and plenty of spice. Welcome to She Who Thrives.
We're your hosts, Caitlin,
Mindy,
and Harrison.
And today we're talking about showing kindness to your partners, you know, the big gestures, the small everyday acts, and everything in between. Just all the little stuff that keeps the love alive. We also want to share some of our own personal stories of things we've done for our partners and sweet ways that they've surprised us. Hopefully it will give you a little inspiration to spread some more kindness in your own relationships.
Acts of kindness matter in every relationship because they keep the connection strong. They remind your partner that they are truly loved. I think a big one for me is years ago when I first started dating my husband before we were even married. I told him how much I loved letters, and every now and again he'll just write a letter, and it reminds me that he A, was listening when I told him that, and B, it's just something that's so simple that doesn't cost any money that he can do that reminds me how much he loves me. I feel like it's so important in every single relationship. Kindness is contagious. When you show love selflessly, it tends to come back to you, creating a cycle of care and appreciation that strengthens the bond even more.
As I was thinking about this last night, I was remembering first, I noticed when we were watching our last podcast that we videoed, I say like a lot. So I'm really going to try hard to not say that. And I also blink like every 3 seconds. And I don't know if it's because I'm old and my eyes are tired or what, but I'm going to try to keep my eyes open, and I'm going to try not to. So when Chasen and Harrison got married, one of our friends was the one that married them, but I had to write the ceremony. So I was thinking about it last night, and I found this poem, and it's by an unknown author, but I loved it, and I thought it played into what we have to say today. The little things are the big things. It is never being too old to hold hands. It is remembering to say I love you at least once a day. It's never going to sleep angry. It is at no time taking the other for granted. The courtship should not end with the honeymoon. It should continue through all the years. It is having a mutual sense of values and common objectives. It is standing together, facing the world. It is forming a circle of love that gathers in a whole family. It is doing things for each other, not in the attitude of duty or sacrifice, but in the spirit of joy. It is speaking words of appreciation and demonstrating gratitude in thoughtful ways. It is not expecting the husband to wear a halo or the wife to have wings of an angel. It is not looking for perfection in each other. It is cultivating flexibility, patience, understanding, and a sense of humor. It is having the capacity to forgive and forget. It is giving each other an atmosphere in which each can grow. It is finding room for the things of the spirit, and the obligation is reciprocal. It is not only marrying the right partner, it is being the right partner. I just love that so much because that kind of hits on everything. Mm-hmm. And yes, this is husband and wife, but I just think it's in any partnership in general. Mm-hmm. So do you guys feel like it's the small everyday acts or the bigger gestures that have meant the most in your relationship?
I think, I don't know about meaning more, but I think it's the small everyday acts that maintain, you know, the love. And the intention behind it.
Totally agree. Because you can be having the worst day and get a simple, thoughtful text from your partner, and it can change your day. Yeah. And that takes very little time to send and costs nothing, but can make the world a difference in a relationship, you know. And it's also the fact that they're thinking about me right now.
Right.
I know last week before, you know, I had an appointment, and I was even talking to you, texting you, and had told you, you know, I'm so anxious and I don't know why. And you were like, well, just pray, you know. And I was telling Luis the same thing before I left. And, you know, he was saying the same stuff, but I was so anxious. And I was like, what is wrong with me? And then after I left, I got a text from him, this big long text that was just like so sweet.
That's always the best, I feel like, especially when, not that the short ones aren't great, but when they take the time to like, I said like after you just talked about how much you say like, I say it a lot too, but take the time to put I guess, all of their feelings into words for you, and point out things that maybe you don't even notice about yourself in those texts. I think that's huge.
Yeah.
What are some of the small things that you can think of that you guys have done for each other that really cost you under $10 or nothing?
Just either of you being out and about and, stopping to get them their favorite drink, or being at the store and taking the time to grab them their favorite snack, or, I know that they need this at home. And it's something simple and it's something small, but it's still like, oh, they were thinking about me. Oh, I said I was out of deodorant and he just went and got it. Like things that
True.
you don't think about, but
That's actually exactly what Chasen did yesterday. He came home from work and he's like, Chubb, I got you something in the truck. Go look. And I was like, oh, what could it be? So I went out there and he had got me my favorite Alani in a little sack in the truck. And it's just like something little simple like that. Adam does that with you in fruit waters.
Yeah, he does. He's really good about that.
Yeah.
He does that a lot. Chai tea, and then he'll write on the little cup just a sweet little message. I even try and like sneak stuff in his backpack that he takes to work, or his computer, or write something on the mirror at night after he's gone to bed so that he sees it in the morning, or leave notes in the truck, just simple stuff, but yeah. Oh, my car's dirty, and you take my car and it comes home clean.
Or full of gas.
Yeah. Full of gas is the best, because we all know I hate pumping gas. What's one act of kindness, big or small, that really stands out to you?
In our own relationship?
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously, I feel like for me, two of the big ones was when Chasen had planned our engagement. He surprised me with going to Mexico, and then obviously surprised me with getting engaged. But that was like a big thing that he did for me. I was never expecting to go to Mexico. And then the most recent one was my birthday scavenger hunt. He had me and his mom helped plan it all and do it all for him, because where was he? Was he working? I think he was working. He had like little gifts like throughout town, throughout the house, things I had to go like pick up. And then he had like the grand prize at home. So after we went and did like a little spa day for the girls, I went home and like my big prize was at home. And it was a bunch of money, which I was not expecting at all. And when I called Mindy and was talking to her about it, she's like, did you cry? I was like, I didn't cry, but I was very, very shocked. That was like the last thing that I was expecting. And plus, the way that I have to give a backstory on what he put it in, because he had the cash rolled up with like, what did you put on it? Like a little, I don't know, it was just tied together in like a ball.
Like raffia.
And Grandma, you're not going to want to hear this.
Grandma's here dog sitting because I have a very sick puppy.
There was like a paper bag. He had set it in the paper bag, and then there was like handcuffs hanging out of it. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, he got some sort of sex toy or something for the grand
bag.
prize.
Oh
yeah,
my
it was
gosh.
in like a paper bag.
Like, this is a gift for you, not me.
Exactly. So yeah, it was just pretty funny and cute and thoughtful, and I feel like he's always been really good about doing thoughtful things, especially if I've been out of town for a long time. Like one time he had like a whole pizza set up with like candlelight in our room. Like that probably cost him $20 to get some little tea light candles and a pizza, and it meant the world. So I think that it's not even necessarily expensive things that mean the very most.
I think all my kids are pretty good at that.
Mom taught us really well when it came to that.
Yeah, even both of Karsten and Braxton, I feel like, even like not even to just partners, but like when they'll send us random little TikToks or reels, and it's so cute.
That sweet one we got from Karsten the other day about send this to amazing women that you think are great mothers and are doing a fabulous job or whatever, that means a lot.
Yeah, I agree.
I think bigger ones that stand out to me, I mean, there's so many small ones. And I think with mine being my love language, I think it plays in huge with love
Yeah.
language,
Mm-hmm.
but mine being acts of service is my second, and so those little things mean so much to me because it is, if I come home and he's done something that around the house that needed done, or just unloading the dishwasher. Even I hate to unload the dishwasher, but that means a lot to me, and his one of his love languages is gifts, and so I really try and incorporate that, and his is also words of
Mm-hmm.
affirmation. So I really trying to do the gifts along with the, hey, here's this that I appreciate about you, and you're so good at this. And um, one Valentine's Day I did 14 days of
I remember that.
gifts, and I did a cute little bag for each one of them, all the same, and then I had a little note hanging off, and I just made a short note, almost like you would find on those nasty heart candies at Valentine's Day.
I love those.
Ew, yuck.
The original.
Yuck.
I love them.
And I was trying to think, because it's been a few years ago, but I was trying to think last night of a few different ones. And I know, like, just said, like, I know one of them was I had gotten him a new pair of shoes. He was training for a competition at the time. So it was hard to do gifts that, because usually you'd get
Mm.
sweets or something,
Yeah.
it's hard to do, to come up with enough things. But one of them was a new pair of shoes for the gym, and it just said, we're the perfect pair on the little
Yeah.
thing. And then I'd gotten him some new underwear, and that one said, I'm nuts over you. Or you drive me nuts is what that one said. You drive me nuts. And then I had bought him a little Dyson fan for his office because he had been complaining how hot it was in his office at work. And I said, I think you're hot. Like, just,
Little.
yeah, just
No.
little tiny notes, I think two of the biggest ones that he would say was when he decided to go back to school after he sold the Complete Nutrition
Mm-hmm.
store, and he wasn't going to walk for graduation. So I decided we were going to take a trip to Hawaii, and I was going to do his graduation there. So I bought the cap and gown and everything, and I had come up with a big poem that I had sent to everybody that I could think of that meant something to him, family, friends, and asked them to send a letter or a card to him. Just, I can't remember what I had written, but anyway, we got so many letters back, and we were sitting on the beach, and I brought out, well, when he came into the place where we were staying, we had decorated it, graduation stuff, and then I gave him his cap and gown, and we went to the beach that night, and I gave him the box that had all the letters in it, and he was just sobbing when he
Oh,
was reading through the letters, like that meant so much. And then every beach stop that we stopped at, I had him put his cap and gown on, and I would take a picture of him, on the beach. And then his 30th birthday party, I had told him, how many people were there?
I can't even, I'm trying to think of what it
It
was.
was a Burger Theory. I'd rented out Burger Theory, and
yeah, we were
I
there
there
remember.
was
a lot.
there was so many people there, and he had no idea. I had told him that it was his birthday's on Christmas, so we did it a few days before. And I had told him that I was going to some clients' house, some of our older clients that are widowed, and I was taking them Christmas gifts for work. And I was meeting up with one of the girls that worked with me. And then I called him and I said, hey, some of my friends want to meet at lunch. They want to do spouses. Come to lunch, come here, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, don't wear your gym clothes. And he's like, why? And I said, well, just because you've never met some of these husbands, so maybe just, and he's like, I'm comfortable in my gym clothes. So he showed up in his gym clothes and was so shocked. And I remember my mom saying something to him about his clothes, and I said, I told you to change. He said, well, I didn't know you were doing this, but he was so surprised. I think that's probably, and the dog
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
Maggie.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
huge surprise
To
year
you.
before last year.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
no, no. I'm thinking of Piper.
Yeah.
She got you, Piper.
We had a big talk, and we have one little dog already, which I never thought I would have an indoor dog. So he had bought me this dog, him and the boys. Kids lived at home at the time. They bought me the dog for my birthday.
Yeah, and the best was I remember videoing it because that was like around when me and Jason started dating, and I was like in the corner, and the look on your face, you were like, thanks.
Well, he said, I told the breeder, we're either going to end up divorced or she's going to love this dog. So we're still married. So obviously I love her. But anyway, then we had a talk a couple years ago. He loves animals. He loves dogs. And I was like, no, Will, we are not having another dog, like into conversation. I was pretty cut and dry with it. And then we had gone to some friend's house. It was for like December-ish time. And they had gotten a new puppy. And I just sat kind of in the corner and watched him interact with this puppy. And I'm like, he loves them. And he gives me everything I want and more. So I'm going to get him a dog. So I reached out to the same breeder as the friend, and I ended up getting a dog from up north. Harrison's dad was coming down for Christmas, so he picked her up. He brought her to Harrison's, and she stayed the night there. We had to shuffle her a couple of different places.
She was just like a little tiny ball
she
of
was
fur.
so cute.
So cute.
And we always do Christmas in the morning and afternoon, and then evening I switch the kitchen and dining room to birthday, and we do his birthday party. And so the twins had her at that time, and I went out and got her from the twins, and we came walking in. She was over my shoulder, and he was looking at me.
He didn't really notice her at first, confused. Right? He was kind of like, what is that?
But then when he saw her, he was just, the look on his face was just like, huh? And I was like, happy birthday. And he was like, if this is a joke, it's not funny. And I was like, no, happy birthday. She's yours. And once again, a little tears, which he says he doesn't have tear ducts. He had dust in his eyes.
But if you watch
had a little dust
like,
in his
slowly,
eyes.
like, wipe it away.
He was so shocked. He could not believe that I had got him that dog. He is not a good surprise puller offer. He has a hard time keeping it from me, and I always find out when he's trying to do a surprise. Last Valentine's Day, was it, that I was reaching out to you guys?
Oh, that he was buying
You
stuff.
were getting the notifications.
Yes, he was doing it on the Apple Card because I don't have an Apple Card. So he was doing it so I couldn't see it, and he was going to all these different spots, and like 4 notifications for some reason popped up on my phone of an Apple charge. And I was like, okay, he either has a girlfriend or he's trying to pull off a surprise.
Which he had told me all of the stops he was going to make and everything he was going to get for you. And then the second thing I get is a phone call from you. I think Adam's trying to surprise me. And I'm just stuck in the middle. Like, I'm not going to say anything to either of them. I don't want him to know that the surprise was ruined and that she knows. And then he's going to be bummed.
Well, one of them was like, I think it was this necklace. It was a jewelry store. And I can't even remember all of them. But yeah. And I had to tell him, like,
I know.
After. I waited till after. But he's like, did you know? And I'm all, no. And he's like, you did. Did Harrison tell you? I'm like, I swear. I'm like, your notifications popped up on my phone. And then when it would pop up, I would just swipe off because I'm like, I don't want to ruin it totally. Yeah. But so yeah, he's not great even when he tries. But the one he did was my 50th birthday.
Yeah.
I was going to say you were pretty shocked then.
Yeah. And he had actually told my mom before he was going to tell me he was having a hard time keeping it a secret and not telling me. And a friend had asked us to go to dinner for my birthday and at a place I love in Mesquite. And so we went to pick them up. And then when we went inside, everyone was there. And I was shocked. Everyone was there. He had got Kate down here, which Kate had been lying to me because we were communicating and she had turned off her location. And I was like, why is your location off? And she told me something was wrong with her phone. And yeah, they had come for it. I had friends from Colorado. I had friends from up north. Like it was, yeah, it was
Yeah,
big.
he did a good
All my
job.
family was there. He did it. He did a great job. And he's like, you don't know how hard that was. Try and surprise you. But he did pull off a surprise.
He had it planned for
So
so
I
long.
don't think I've ever pulled off a surprise. But me, I get way too excited. The one that I got like
you guys are
super
weird though.
close.
You guys,
You guys know each other.
No, we've been way better since we've had a kid.
yeah, because I told them because they opened their Christmas
remember.
presents like 2 weeks before Christmas.
But though I got so close. I think it was his birthday when I got him that grill. I almost made it to his birthday, and then I was like, guess what?
I can't wait.
I was so excited.
I think, the one big surprise that I can think of that I pulled off was getting him those NFL tickets for his birthday. But we had gone to Cheesecake Factory for his birthday dinner. So he took his presents there, and on the big, I don't know, his birthday was on a day where there's football on, right? So they have all the big TVs and the game is on, and I got tickets for, a player that had just gone to a new team, a quarterback, but he really wanted to see him. So that's why I got the tickets for those two teams. As he's opening the tickets, the team is playing that we're going to see, and literally at the exact same time the quarterback gets hurt on the TV
Oh no.
and was out for the whole season after that.
Oh
Oh,
no.
I was
no.
like, you cannot be serious.
Was this recently? Did you guys already go to the
What
game?
was this, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, so
about
that
2
was
years
this
ago.
birthday.
No, it was a few years ago. Yeah.
Oh, a few years
Yeah,
ago.
we went to Denver. It was still so fun. He still talks about it all the time, about how that was like the greatest thing anybody's ever done for him. But I was like, you cannot be serious right now.
So if you watched last week, Adam is hunting and he comes home tomorrow, which will be, we release on Wednesday. So he comes home Monday. But every time he goes to Alaska, he's gone for 2 weeks, which we're never apart. So that is a long time for the both of us. But I always try and do something either when he gets home, or last year was so cute. I just found tons of pictures of us and printed them all off in black and white and hung them everywhere. And then at the bottom of each of them, I wrote something, I missed your whatever with a little something. And anyway, I had decorated the outside door, and it was
Were they
cute last year.
inside?
Mhm.
Okay, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And this year I wrote a letter for every day that he was
Oh.
gone. And then I stuck them in an envelope and did like day one. So there was 15 letters in there. And then I put them all in a manila envelope, and I put a little thing on the outside that told him, kind of, I had written a little poem and then told him, each day open one. And I stuck it. He took his stuff out that morning. They left at 4:30, I think, in the morning. And he'd put his stuff on the porch while he was waiting for them to come pick him up. And I ran it out there because he has one specific bag for his computer stuff. So I ran it out there and opened that up and stuffed it in there. So he had no idea. And then when he got to their first layover, that's when he found it, but he has texted me numerous times about it. And he's like, you don't know how much these letters mean to me. It's the highlight of every day to get to open them and read them. And so it's just, and that cost me
right?
nothing.
I did the 1 year for his birthday. We had a basement at the time. So I decorated, going down the stairs, and then in the basement, filled it with balloons. But I did printed off the pictures, just off the printer with paper, and then wrote, pictures of us or pictures of him with the different kids, and had the kids write things, and put it up over all the walls. And still, that's one of the things. It's like, doesn't cost anything, but that's still something that he talks about today that, means so much.
I think I've actually done that too when we lived in our apartment. I put them on our bed because I remember I couldn't find any string to attach to the balloons because I wanted like them hanging from balloons, but I couldn't find string anywhere. So I just laid them out on the bed and then had balloons. And I think his gifts or something on the bed. That was like one of the only times he got gifts on his birthday and not before. But But like you said, it costs nothing and it just makes them feel important
Love,
and
yeah.
appreciated.
I did post-it notes one year too, just at random, just for no reason. But I looked up like the absolute cheesiest pickup lines like you could ever come up with, and put them on all the post-it notes, and then just put it everywhere. And he still talks about that.
That's a good
That one
idea.
was fun.
But I think it's those simple things that matter the most,
Yeah,
Totally.
but you
to
remember
me
years
anyway.
later. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, the trips are fun and the big gestures are nice, but the little things that you can do every day just to let them know, hey, I love you. I'm thinking about you. You're on my
mm-hmm.
mind. What's one thing that your partner does that makes you instantly feel loved?
I think just like if he can tell, like if I'm having a rough day or if I'm just like gonna go crazy, and he can tell, like just coming to me and like putting his arms around me, kind of, and just giving me a pep talk, or just hugging me like for a minute, just sitting there like take a deep breath. Anything like that.
Yeah, I think sometimes even when they don't say
Yeah.
anything too, that's always better. When you're
Yeah.
just like, let me just sit here and cry for a
Yeah.
sec. Don't say anything.
A silent hug is very comforting.
Mm-hmm.
I love the you're so
Mm-hmm.
pretty, even when I'm not pretty, you
Oh,
know,
shut up.
first thing in the morning. You're like, really?
Jason will all if he ever gives me a compliment, it's always followed up by chubby girl or chub. You look so cute.
You need to tell
You
people
look so
that he
cute,
really
chubby girl.
doesn't think you're chubby.
It's a
We
church.
I
call her
know.
Chub because she's always been this big.
But every time, yeah, Chub, you look so cute. Or anytime he says something, chubby girl is at the end of it. How do you balance giving and receiving kindness in your relationship?
Honestly, it's a give
True.
and
Yeah.
take. I feel like if you give, they're giving
Mm-hmm.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Like they say, if things are going bad, treat them like a king for a week and see what
Yeah.
happens. It's gonna, or vice versa. Treat her like a queen for a week and see what
Right.
happens. You know,
Yeah.
it is reciprocated, and maybe not all the time, and that's when you need to go
Hello.
bye bye. See you
Yeah, I
later.
also think, like you said, like when you're being treated that way or when they're being treated that way, that makes the other person want to also, you know.
One thing that I think is important too is just having like a
I was
checkup
just gonna say that. Yeah.
on your relationship.
We do that every
Yeah.
Sunday.
And just checking in. Yeah. A lot of times, it'll just be like, okay, where do you, I've told you guys, but I've started doing a question at night.
Every night.
So before, not every night, but a lot of nights. And sometimes they're just really random and he'll be like, what's the question tonight? You know? But one of them I said to him, there's there's been a few good ones, but I said, if you could rate our relationship on a scale from 1 to 100, looking at people around us, where would you rank us? And whoever asks the question answers last, obviously, because we already have the answer in our
Yeah.
head.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was thinking about it, and he's like, 100. And he was like, where did you put us? And I was like, 99.9, because I just don't know if there's somebody out there that's luckier, but a lot of times, well, most of the time, we've been dead on with our
Really.
answers, and he'll even say, were you lying? And I'm like, no, I'll even write them down on my phone so you can see them. Yeah, but it's crazy how many times, one of them I asked him one night, where do you think we are the most different in our relationship? And his answer was the fact that he was able to move from Iowa to come here without family.
Mm-hmm.
He said, it's not that I love them less. He said, I think you have a harder time like separating that, which I do. I don't think I could ever move. I'm like, I could move if I took everyone with
Yeah.
me, but you know how hard it's been for us just having you gone.
Gosh.
Even when we were looking at lots though out in Copper Rock, girl, was there enough for everyone? I'm like, no, there's not. There's not enough for everyone to live in the same cul-de-sac right here. We can keep looking.
Yeah, but I just think it's important to check in, see how you feel the week went, what you can do better. That's
Mm-hmm.
always something, how can I serve you better
Mm-hmm.
this week? Is there anything I can do? And I know serve is not going to be an appropriate word for people, but I'm not his servant. He's not my servant, but that's just the word I use. I just,
I don't know what else you would
Yeah.
use.
I think that helped us a lot with, we've been doing that for a while now. I remember telling you about it when we started, a check in every Sunday. And it normally starts with, okay, like what does each of us have going on this week? Kind of talk about the week, but then also talk about, the positives and if there were any negatives. But I also feel like number one, that helped with miscommunications and arguments, but that also, we know that we're both in that headspace. So like if I've done something that has hurt your feelings or, something that I need to work on, I'm also in that headspace to receive that. And you know what I'm saying? Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
work on that, but I feel like that's helped a lot. But it's also nice to hear, you know, oh, well, I know that you worked your butt off this week and I really appreciated how hard you worked or you did this and that made me feel really good because sometimes we don't, take the time to say the small things that we appreciated or that we noticed or, things like that. So I think that's definitely
yeah,
good.
a lot
I
of
agree.
times I think you take them for
Mm-hmm.
granted when things are good. And if you don't put that out there, it tends to go
Mm-hmm.
away.
It does.
The other night we had just like a movie night at home, and then we got stuff and made s'mores after, just in the microwave, but I'm like, it was just fun and it was just a little
I
date
love
night
stuff
for
Me
like
us.
that.
too.
And, I was remembering, he'll say things that he needs or that he would like, and I always put
Me
them in
too.
my notes because I do have Christmas and his birthday on the same day. So, but I always try and remember that kind of stuff. And one year, I think it was for Valentine's Day that year too. We all know he loves guns. He loves to shoot. He loves to hunt. And there was a place in Vegas called Gunship something or other, but you go shoot like all these different kinds of guns, and you're in a helicopter and you're
Mm,
shooting down at things like
that's cool.
machine guns and all this stuff. And somebody had told me about it, so I looked it up, and it was an experience. Like he was. You don't get to do that all the time. And I just put something about I put like shot through the heart, and you're something about that, and then had given him this gunship thing and sent him and a friend to go do that, and he loved it. They video you and send you pictures
Fun.
and stuff, but
I remember that actually.
yeah, he loved it. I think it's as simple too sometimes as just like we said, a hug,
Mm-hmm.
a kiss on the forehead, holding hands when your
Yeah.
places.
It just I feel like acts of service is a love language for me, and that's maybe why I like this one so much. But even like if I've come over here to film the podcast and I go home and like he's picked up the house, like that seems like such a simple thing. And it is a simple thing, but it's like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for helping me because that relieves my stress of feeling like I have all these things to pick up and do the laundry and make sure all the bottles are clean and all these things, which normally I do while he's at work. But it's always nice to have that extra help when I'm gone that he'll just pick up for me. And he's usually pretty good about it, and I'm really bad about being like, I feel like you're not helping him as much around the house. And he's like, I literally did it like 2 days ago. And I'm like, you're right, you did. Like, I need to be better about remembering that just because you didn't do it today doesn't mean that you don't
Mm-hmm.
do it. So,
I don't want Adam to do my laundry.
Nope.
no, he doesn't do my
Well, we
laundry.
No.
But no, not that, not that.
I saw how he did laundry before we were together. No.
No, Jason, I don't even know if he knows how to use our washer and dryer.
I was going to say
Luis
laundry, but
ruined a
I
load,
taught him
and I
how
was
to.
like, yeah. I was like, you're not touching it anymore.
But he pretends like he has no clue how to do laundry now that we've been together. I'm like, you did laundry great when you lived by yourself and when you lived at your mom's, but then we get together and you don't even know where the
I
hamper
forgot.
is. He knows it's right next, his clothes go right next to the hamper
Yeah.
usually.
Not in it.
Never.
No.
When I was married to their dad, I remember complaining to Brad's mom about that. I'm like, all he literally has to do is pull it out and put him in there, and he can't. And she's like, do you know why he doesn't? Because he knows you're going to pick them up after
Yeah.
him. I'm like, you're right.
We've talked a lot, especially lately, about like doing things with intention, like everything, you know.
Mhm.
It was even like now that Ava's in preschool, you know, she only goes 2 days a week, but we've really tried to put the effort in, you know, at least one of those days when she's in preschool, like going to get breakfast together or getting lunch or just, you know, spending some good quality time together. But it's even like we dropped her off the other day and then he went the opposite way of home. And I was like, where are you going? And he was like, well, I know you have a really busy day today. So I thought we could stop and get you your favorite coffee, you know, before we go back home. I was like, oh.
Okay, so this week's tip, what'd you
Just
say?
kidding.
She said
I only said that
frog
because I heard you say it. We don't have a frog butt.
butt. You don't have a frog butt.
And
First of
my
all,
eyes
you could
twitching.
only have a frog butt if you're like chubby right
Yeah.
here, and then it goes. "Beep."
Like grew from, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Your mom does not have a glue
No,
body.
never.
Are you giving us our tip of the week?
Yeah. So this week's tip is don't underestimate the power of the small stuff. It might matter more than the grand gestures. Do one intentional act of kindness for your partner this week. Big or small, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be expensive or fancy. Sometimes, like we said, it's just a hug, taking care of a chore, or just simply saying, I appreciate you. The small things add up and they remind your partner that they're loved, and it's actions and not just words. It's really easy to talk, but when you put your actions behind it, I think it's more meaningful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for hanging out with us on today's episode of She Who Thrives. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a friend. We will be back next Wednesday with a brand new episode. But until then, remember, no matter what you're doing in life, do it to the best of your ability and always strive to thrive.